So imagine this, right? Everything you've worked for, your money, your house, even, poof, gone. And not because the government takes it, but because, like, these financial bigwigs decide it's their turn. That's what David Webb lays out in The Great Taking. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
It's definitely an eye-opener. And for me, what makes it hit home is that Webb's not some armchair analyst.
Uh-huh.
This is a guy who's in the thick of it on Wall Street, managing billions.
Okay, so back up a bit. For those of us who don't know the whole story,
Yeah.
who is this guy?
So picture this. David Webb, kid growing up in Cleveland, seeing American industry fall apart, understands hard times firsthand. Fast forward, he makes it big, hedge fund manager in New York, the big leagues, right? But here's the thing, he walks away.
Wait, seriously, he just quit? With all that money, the power?
Right. Because he saw what was happening behind the curtain. It wasn't just a game, it was rigged, benefiting a tiny few while everyone else loses out. Reminded him of the lead up to the Great Depression. He couldn't be a part of it. Had to protect his family, his clients, even himself, I think.
Wow. Takes guts to walk away from all that. But, okay, he sees this link to the Depression. What does that even mean? What's rigged?
He's talking about how they mess with the money supply,
Yeah.
create those booms and busts on purpose, just like back in the 20s. That cycle, that's what ends up with a handful of people ending up with all the wealth.
And most of us are just, what, going about our day totally oblivious. So how does this great taking actually work? Does he get into the nitty-gritty? Yeah, he does. And it's pretty fascinating, actually. Like, one example he gives is how we shifted from physical stock certificates, like those actual pieces of paper, to everything being electronic in the book entry system. Seems kind of boring, but Webb says it's a key part of the whole plan.
He's totally right.
Hmm.
It seems minor, but think about it like this. You buy a car, straight cash, no loans. You own that car, right?
Yeah, obviously. That's how owning things works. Or used to work, maybe.
Exactly. But imagine now there's this legal thing, this loophole that lets the car dealership use your car as collateral for their own borrowing, even though you own it free and clear, and then the dealership goes bankrupt.
Oh, no. So then what? What happens to my car?
Well, because of this loophole, the people who loaned the dealership money, they have a claim on your car now, even though you never borrowed a cent from them. That's basically what's happening with security entitlement.
Hold on. You're telling me that the stocks and bonds I think I own, they're not really mine?
Not in the way we usually think about it now. This new system, it undermines the whole idea of owning something outright. It's like a bait and switch, and most people have no clue it's even happened.
Okay, I'm officially nervous now. This is serious stuff. What's the end game then? What happens when it all falls apart?
That's where it gets really interesting and kind of scary. See, this legal framework, combined with how massive and complex the derivatives market is, which are basically just bets on anything and everything, creates this system that's ripe for abuse. Your stuff, your assets, they become collateral in this web of financial instruments, like a house of cards.
So it's like musical chairs, right?
Yeah.
And when the music stops, most of us are left standing there, no chair in sight. And this isn't just like a risk. This is something these financial bigwigs are actually working towards, you're saying.
So Webb suggests, yeah. He talks about this group, the legal certainty group. They've been quietly pushing laws that benefit them, the ones who are already positioned to profit.
Okay, hold on. Legal certainty group. Sounds like something out of a movie. Who are these guys?
Think of them as the financial elite. They're real power brokers behind the scenes. And it's not just laws either. Webb mentions the Federal Reserve, the DTCC, and this push for what they call central clearing counterparties, CCPs.
CCPs. Right, okay. More acronyms. You're going to have to break that one down for me.
Fair enough. Think of them like giant clearinghouses for financial transactions. They're supposed to make the system safer, but...
But there's always a but, right?
Right. By putting so much power in one place, they create a single point of failure. Like imagine the whole electrical grid all running through one giant hub. If that hub goes down...
Lights out for everyone. Okay, I'm seeing where you're going with this.
Exactly. And it's not just the CCPs. Webb tells this story about talking to George Soros, the billionaire investor. And even Soros, someone at the very top, says there's a they out there, some group pulling the strings.
Whoa, okay, so we've got this legal certainty group, shadowy they, and this whole House of Cards financial system. Maybe I should just bury my savings in the backyard.
You and everyone else. But here's the thing. Hiding isn't the answer. Webb doesn't just lay out this scary scenario. He gives us clues, ways to understand what might be coming. One big one is something called the velocity of money.
Okay, you officially lost me again. Velocity of money. Like how fast my paycheck disappears after payday.
Haha, not a bad way to put it.
Yeah.
Basically, it measures how fast money's changing hands in the economy. Like, you buy a coffee, the shop uses that money to pay their supplier, who pays their employees, so on. Money moving, doing its job. But when the velocity of money gets slow,
It's like everyone's hoarding cash, scared to spend it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a bad sign, means the economy's sputtering. And get this, right now, we're seeing the biggest decline in velocity of money in recorded history.
Okay, so how's that tie into this great taking idea?
Well, look around. The Fed's pumped trillions into the economy, but it's not getting to most people. It's stuck at the top, inflating asset bubbles. Stocks, bonds, real estate, everything's going up, even though the real economy's struggling. That's what Webb calls the everything bubble.
Yeah, feels like we're living in some weird fake world, honestly.
And it's not an accident. This is all part of the plan, according to Webb. He says this bubble, it's setting the stage for something way worse. He calls it the Great Reset.
Okay, now you're really freaking me out. Great reset. What does it even mean? Okay, great reset. Paint me a picture. What are we talking about here?
Think of it like this. You wake up one morning, can't get into your bank account. Money's frozen, stock market's closed.
Yeah.
Businesses are boarded up, like someone hit the pause button on the entire system.
Hold on, are we talking like a bank holiday? That Great Depression stuff?
That's what Webb says is possible.
Yeah.
And he says those safe harbor rules the FDIC set up makes it easy for them to pull it off.
So they crash the system on purpose, then swoop in and buy everything up for pennies while we're panicking.
Not pretty, is it? But he shows how it could be done, easily even. Remember those secured creditors? They're protected. They get first dibs after a crash.
This is starting to feel like one of those heist movies where they lay out the whole plan for how they'll steal the gold.
And like a good heist, it's all about distraction. Everyone's freaking out. Meanwhile, the real wealth is being moved around behind the scenes. Your money, your assets, poof, gone to the guys who planned the whole thing.
Okay, that's officially terrifying. So are we doomed? Like, is this unavoidable?
Webb doesn't think so. He says knowledge is power, right? If we get how this system works, we can spot the warning signs, maybe protect ourselves a little.
So what can we even do? What's the plan?
No magic bullet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's about being flexible, having backups, not putting all your eggs in one basket, investing in things like precious metals, maybe learning new skills, even just being part of your community, having people you can rely on locally.
So prepping for a financial doomsday, but with, like, community gardening and gold coins.
Think of it as an insurance policy. You hope you never need it, but if things go south, you're ready, right?
Right. Makes sense. And yeah, the more you know, the better. Like you said, knowing what's going on is half the battle.
Absolutely. That's a big part of what Webb's saying.
Yeah.
He wants people to wake up, to question what they're being told, take charge of their own futures.
Well said. This has been a lot to take in, but really eye-opening. So any final thoughts you want to leave folks with?
Just, you're not alone in this. There are people asking these same questions, looking for solutions, building something better. Don't be afraid to find those people. Make connections. Start taking control. It's out there.
I love that. Couldn't agree more. Huge thank you for breaking all this down for us. It's been amazing.
My pleasure. Anytime. I love these conversations.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us for this deep dive on the Great Taking. Definitely check out the book yourselves. Keep exploring these ideas because, like we said, knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more ready you are for whatever's coming. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.